This Upanishad, the Mandukya, suggests a very simple method for the establishment of Jiva in Isvara, to transfer the relation of the personality to the non-relation of Isvara, and to achieve this by a direct method of invoking the presence of Isvara, or Brahman, into our being, summoning Isvara into our consciousness. Give Isvara a place in your heart. Instead of thinking of an object corresponding to a particular name, think of Isvara who is designated by a comprehensive name. All the names of the world like mountain, river, etc. are particular names corresponding to particular forms. But Isvara is not a particular form. He is a universal form, and therefore you cannot call him or summon him by a particular name. You have to call him by a universal name, because he is universal form. No particularized language can describe Isvara, because Isvara is not a particularized object. He is not a man or a woman or a human being. He is not here or there. He is everywhere. That which is everywhere cannot be designated by a language that belongs only to a particular country or a man or a woman or a particular person. You require a very comprehensive language to describe the comprehensive form of Isvara. There is no comprehensive language. All languages are local. You have many languages, and there is no single language that can be applied to the whole world. And even if there be a language that can be valid for the whole world, even that is a local language from the point of view of the vaster cosmos. Is there a language that can be valid for the whole universe? That language alone can describe Isvara, because he is universal. There is no such language. The only language conceivable, revealed to the ancient rishis, is Om, or Pranav. The recitation of Om is the speaking of a universal language, a language which comprehends within itself all other languages, and the vocal organ, in the recitation of Om, or Pranav, vibrates also in a very comprehensive manner. When you utter A, B, C, etc., a particular part of the vocal system begins to vibrate, but when you recite Om, the entire sound box begins to vibrate. This is a matter for experiment. Any one of you can experiment with it and observe the result. The whole sound box begins to function, not merely a part of the sound box. And all the languages are supposed to be contained in Om because of the fact that in the recitation of Om every part of the vocal organ begins to vibrate, and naturally every word, every phrase should be somehow included in the root sound that is created when Om is chanted. Not merely this, the recitation of Om has another significance or meaning. The chanting or the calling out of a particular name produces a vibration in you. You have a feeling generated within you by the recitation or the calling out of a name. Rasgulla, laddu, kheer, coffee, tea, rice, these are certain names of certain objects, and you know that when you utter these names, different ideas occur to your mind and you have different sensations in your body. Scorpion, a different sensation, disease, ugliness, earthquake, atom bomb, war, all these ideas produce vibrations in your system. They are not merely words, they are vibrations that are conveyed to your system by a particular word or a phrase, and Om is also a vibration, not merely a word or a sound. Om is a vibration, a universal vibration with which creation commenced, as they say. The Manusmriti, the Mahabharata, the Puranas and the Upanishads describe the nature, the constitution, the structure and the glory of Om. With Om, Brahma created this cosmos, and from Om constituted of the three isolated letters A, U, M, the varieties came forth, Bhuv, Bhuva, Sva. From these three varieties, the three padas of the Gayatri mantra emanated. From the three padas of the Gayatri mantra, the meaning of the three sections of the Purusha Sukta emerged, and from the meaning of the Purusha Sukta, the meaning of the entire Vedas emanated. And from this vast meaning of the Vedas, Brahma created this cosmos, say the scriptures. So important is Om, not a chant uttered by Brahma, but a vibration that rose from the Supreme Being in the initial stage of creation, a comprehensive vibration. And when we chant Om, we also try to create within ourselves a sympathetic vibration, a vibration which has a sympathy with the cosmic vibration, so that, for the time being, we are in tune with the cosmos. We flow with the current of the cosmos when we recite Om, and produce a harmonious vibration in our bodily and psychological system. Instead of tearing ourselves away from the world outside, we flow into the current of the world. Instead of thinking independently as Jivas, we start thinking universally as Isvara. Instead of thinking in relation to objects segregated from one another, we think in terms of nothing at all. There is thought thinking itself, as it were. Can you imagine thought thinking itself? This is Isvara's thought. When a thought thinks of an object, it is Jiva's thought. When the thought thinks only itself, it is Isvara's thought, Isvara's will, and when we recite Om properly, with an understanding of its real connotation, we think nothing in particular. We think all things in general. This is Isvara thinking. We do not think at that time. It is Isvara who thinks through these individual minds of ours. We, as persons, cease to be for the time being. We exist as the thing in itself, Isvara, who exists by his own stature, mind and status. He does not exist as a Jiva in terms of other objects. We always exist in relation to something else. Isvara exists with relation to nobody else, and we, as seekers of the status of Isvara, or Brahman, wishing to exist by a universal nature, try, by this means of the recitation of Om, to flow into Isvara's being like rivers trying to flow into the bosom of the ocean. We are like streams wanting to rush into the sea, and just as by the force of the inclination of the waters, the rivers enter the ocean, we, by the inclination of the vibration of Om, enter the universe. When you recite Om properly, you enter into a meditative mood. You are not merely reciting a sound or a word or a phrase, you are creating a vibration. To point out once again, you are creating a vibration. What sort of vibration? Not a vibration which agitates you, irritates you, or creates a desire in your mind for a particular object, but a vibration which melts all other particular vibrations, puts an end to all desire, extinguishes all cravings and creates a desire for the universal. As fire burns straw, this desire for the universal burns up all other desires. A recitation of Om, even 3 times, correctly done, is enough to burn up all sins, to put a cessation to all desire and make you calm, quiet and satisfied within yourself. The test of a correct recitation or chant of Om is that you become calm in your mind and feel satisfied with what you are and what you have. When you come out of your meditative mood with a desire persisting, it would only point out that your contemplation has not been perfect. The desire for things was lurking within while you were in a mood of contemplation. Even the chant of Om was not properly done. The chant of Om should go together with the thought of the universal. It is a japa and a dhyana combined. While other japas may lead you to a mood of dhyana or meditation, while other mantras may lead to dhyana, the japa of Om suddenly becomes dhyana when it is properly done. Here, japa and dhyana combine, and nama and rupa are brought together. Here, you do not have a distinction between the designator and the designated, because the nama, name, which is Om, being universal, merges into the rupa, form, which is also universal. There cannot be 2 universals, there can only be one universal. So the designator and the designated, in the case of Om, become one. Japa and dhyana mean the same thing in the case of the chanting of Om. It is a sudden entering into a realm which the individual mind cannot understand. A rapture of ecstasy may take possession of you if you chant Om. Thus, omitted ad aksharamidam sarvam, Om is, verily, everything. Om is imperishable. All name in this world is perishable, for it goes with the corresponding form. But this universal form is imperishable, this universal name also is imperishable, comprehends everything. Omitted ad aksharam, Om is akshara, and akshara is imperishable. Tasyopavyakinam, bhutam, bhavat, bhavishyaditi sarvam omkara eva, yakinyat tritlatitam tarpi omkara eva. All that was in the past, all that is now in the present, all that will be in the future, all this is Om, because Om has no past, present and future, the universal has no time. What a grand description of Om is given in the Mandukya Upanishad. Whatever is in time, as past, present and future, is Om. Not merely this, that which is above time, also, is Om. Om has a twofold nature, the temporal and the eternal, it is Sabda and Sabdita. It is constituted of a, U, M, representing all creation, but it has also a fourth nature which transcends these distinctions of a, U, M. It is called Amtara and Chaturtha Bhava. The soundless form of Om is Amatra, the immeasurable, and it is not audible to the ears. This Amtara, or the immeasurable, eternal nature of Om is not a sound or even a mere vibration, but it is just existence, pure and simple, known as Satchidananda Swarupa, existence, consciousness, bliss. That which is past, present and future is the temporal comprehension of the gamut of Om, and that which transcends time is the eternal nature of Om. To give the analogy of the river and the ocean, the river is the temporal form, the ocean is the permanent form. There is a name and a form for the river, but there is no such name and form of the river in the ocean, as all rivers become one in the ocean. In the temporal form, Om may be said to designate all that is existent in creation. In its eternal form it cannot be said to constitute any kind of particular form, but it is formless, durationless and spaceless. Om, therefore, is name and form and the formless, vibration and consciousness, creation and Satchidananda.